From the depths of the Galactic Tribunal, Earth's status as a low-threat species is formally confirmed until a strange signature warps a binary star system. As the Council watches, dread grows. What they assume to be a sensor malfunction becomes the galaxy's first glimpse of something far worse. Humanity speaks only once. The Carthune Assembly rotated in solemn indifference. Inside the tribunal vault, galaxies blinked in crystalline projection beneath their clawed feet, each species tethered to an assigned threat rating. Earth was barely a footnote. Classification: primitive carbon-based, post-nuclear, low aggression profile. High Speaker Virex clicked disdainfully. Why summon us for this? The Terrans still burn hydrocarbons and wage wars with bullets. Grand. Sensor Orixi's photonic arms gestured to a warped spatial field projection, focused on a binary system at the edge of Sector Varnix 7. Because of that, they rasped. An artificial gravitational slingshot, not theory, witnessed. 2 stars altered orbit. The chamber darkened. The projected binary stars twisted. One flared too fast. The other dimmed unnaturally. Then silence. No explosion. No debris. No radiation signature consistent with known weaponry. Sensor corruption, muttered a Tri-Starry Admiral. Or a cloaked mining event? Negative. Pattern registered just 0.2 clicks before full stellar collapse. One of the stars. Not detonated, compressed, artificially. Virex leaned in. You mean they killed a star? No one answered. Then the feed jumped again. From the event's heart, a faint transmission. No ID tag, no frequency norm. Raw audio, human voice. Mark it as our first. We needed proof of concept. Gasps broke the chamber's silence. Orixi tried to stabilize the feed. The voice returned. Clearer this time, modulated by ancient Terran linguistic cadence, calculated calm. For centuries, we watched your wars, catalogued your betrayals, heard you call us backward. You mocked the word revenge. You never understood ours wouldn't be loud. A chilling pause. It would be final. In the vault's shadowed rear, minor species began to blink out of the projection. Retreat protocols. Entire sectors are deregistering contact with Sol-class systems. The shift had begun. Where did the signal originate? Virex demanded. Outer shell of the destroyed binary, said Orixi. A ship or a veil. It never decloaked. Just broadcast once. From the still-burning twin sun, a new formation appeared. Orbiting nothing, casting shadow over silence. It pulsed once, then vanished. Virex's mandibles shivered. Primitive species don't build star killers. They do, Orixi whispered, if you leave them alone long enough. Low orbit. Above the dead binary, the silence of the command deck was absolute. Captain Sarah Voss stood, hand on a transparent helm. Around her, the ship's core AI dimmed its light. Nothing remained, not the star, not the station, not the legacy, just proof. A junior technician behind her whispered, "We didn't even fire a weapon." Voss turned, voice flat. "No, just a mass-fold spike anchored with dark matter threading." The technician swallowed. "Won't they retaliate?" "No," Voss said, eyes hard. "They'll panic first, then they'll beg to understand." She turned back to the stars. Behind her, the hull of ESS Ravenous Light shimmered. It bore no flag, no Earth markings, only an old Terran inscription etched into quantum crystal. Primitive is a perspective. While alien powers scramble to explain the loss of a binary star, a secret Earth command bunker reactivates Protocol Wraith. Deep below Antarctica, a war scientist confronts the ethical toll of creating a silence-based weapon. In space, a second anomaly forms, unpowered, but just as fatal. The Tri-Starry matriarchs convened in chemical resonance, their luminescent membranes flickering with fear pheromones. "We misclassified the Terrans," one keened. "The star did," Not go nova, it disappeared, its matter drained. By what? A black hole engineered? The answer lay on a suspended scan. Not a weapon discharge, but mass cancellation. Gravity collapsed inward, not exploded outward. A star consumed. From within, without light or heat, the galaxy had seen annihilation, but never subtraction. Elsewhere, dozens of civilizations simultaneously opened long-abandoned intelligence archives, tagged with a single human designation, Protocol Wraith. None understood its meaning. Some believed it was myth. Beneath the Ross, ice shelf, Antarctica, 1.2 miles below surface, human territory, Wraith Command. Dr. Evelyn Sato stared at the terminal. A blinking icon, red, unused for 51 years. Uth code. Black sign, activation logged, star kill test successful, awaiting contingency protocol. 2, she exhaled. The room felt colder. Commander Raj Geller stepped forward, his boots silent. On frost-sealed titanium. It worked, exactly as you said it would. You should be proud. I'm not, Evelyn replied. We just taught the galaxy that physics has a blind spot. She tapped into the holofeed. The destroyed star system now showed 3 new entry points. No propulsion signatures, no thermal trace, just gravity disruptions. Ships, mines, ghosts. We didn't just kill a star, she said. We declared that humans think differently. Fundamentally, Raj turned to a nearby technician. Deploy Ravenous Light into Phase 2 orbit. Prep the Mirage Array. No further comms unless tagged Silence Prime. The technician nodded. Understood. What if they strike back? They can't, Raj said. Not if they don't know what they're fighting. Deep orbit. Site Alpha 23. Dark silhouettes drifted in orbital sync. They emitted nothing, not even anti-grav pulses. They weren't ships in the conventional sense. Inside the nearest craft, Captain Voss watched as an alien scout fleet arrived via blink jump. 6 vessels, tri-starry design, high-gauge shielding, weapons hot. Hold position, she ordered. Do not respond. Do not reveal. The scout fleet approached. Scans swept the blackness. Nothing returned. No life signs, no tech signature. Then the alien ships began to fail. One by one, the systems collapsed. Guidance, power, life support. No explosions, no alarms, just failure. A slow, surgical absence. Lieutenant Cruz whispered, "Are we doing that?" "No," Voss said. "The array is passive defense field. Their systems run on entropy offset. We rewrote the rules. From the observation deck, the Tristari ships floated lifeless, perfectly intact. Not destroyed, rendered obsolete, aboard the Galactic Response Council's flagship, 41 parsecs away. Nothing was fired. No contact. No warning, the analyst hissed. Their fleet just stopped. Chancellor Yule dropped his breathing mask. Stopped how? As if the very laws of operation were edited. Yule's eyes darkened. Send a diplomatic pulse. It will not be received. All human systems are refusing translation matrices. They're speaking in symbolism. Then find someone who understands it. The analyst stared down at a transmission they couldn't decipher. A human symbol left behind after each encounter. A folded star inside a circle of silence. Alien empires converge on the remains of the erased star, holding a rare cross-species mourning ceremony. But amid the silence, one emissary uncovers the truth. It wasn't war, it was a demonstration. Back on Earth, humanity prepares for Phase 3 and faces its own buried guilt. The dead star hovered like a scar on the galactic map. 9 species, gathered in high orbit, suspended in shielded mournships, their hulls glowing with funeral hues. Sapphire for the Yalkar, blood amber for the Kel, silver black for the Tristari. It was the first time in recorded galactic history that multiple civilizations held a shared mourning rite. Not for a people, Not for a planet, for a sun. Who would erase a star? The matriarch of the Kell hissed across the shared diplomatic channel. It breaks no law, violates no treaty. It is cosmic desecration. High Censor Eryx's voice trembled. The Terrans did not kill it in anger. They removed it to show they could. A signal. To whom? To everyone. Silence fell. Then a low thrum rattled the observatory decks. Not a weapon, not a scan. A pattern. A soundless pulse through subspace, one long, one short, three rapid. Old Earth code, whispered a Galerian envoy. SOS. No, Eryx corrected. It's not a distress call. He ran the pattern through his translator. A match. One of the oldest known phrases in human cryptography. Observe or be next. The Mornships scattered. Panic shattered protocol. Each commander understood the message in their own language, but the fear was universal. They hadn't come to mourn. They had come to witness Earth. Project Echo Glass Facility, Sublevel 9. The room was silent except for the faint hum of cryogenic processors. 30 men and women floated in still liquid, soldiers, scientists, and one child. Dr. Evelyn Sato stood with a tablet trembling in her grip. Rajgela read the names aloud. Phase 3 requires a different breed. Phase 3 requires monsters, she muttered. You know what we built them for. Genetically tuned to nonlinear time perception, combat reflexes that anticipate before stimulus. They're not soldiers. They're deterrents, Raj said. Evelyn lowered her gaze. That child was 6 when we froze her. What kind of world wakes her up? Raj didn't answer. He didn't have to. The display screen lit with a new alert. Emerging enemy probes, Draxtian Empire, vectoring toward Sol. 36 hours, said the technician. They're coming to confirm. Raj turned to Evelyn. Then they'll need confirmation. Outer, Sol orbit, cloaked kill zone network. The probes entered silently. 9 silent drones shaped like crystalline daggers. They drifted, recording, analyzing, searching for something primitive. Instead, they found a tether field, not a weapon, not a trap, a mirror. Each probe blinked as it encountered its own image, returned and amplified in gravity lensing. Their sensors looped. Their quantum signatures turned in on themselves. They weren't destroyed. They were convinced they'd never existed. One by one, the probes powered down. A quiet death, a mercy. Back in the Galactic Council's darkened core, the Chancellor stared at a simple transmission. Not a message, an image, Earth. Still blue, still spinning. Above it, a single word. Etched in gravitational imprint, primitive. Draxtian warships breach Sol's perimeter, only to encounter illusions, failures, and something worse, invisibility by choice. Aboard the lead destroyer, a Draxtian commander begins to unravel. On Earth, a child from the cryo vault wakes and starts speaking to the stars. Deep Sol system, Draxtian Empire flagship. Revenger of the silent Draxtian commander Hreth Kalvax slammed his neural spines against the interface rail, snarling. Where are their defense systems? Where are their ships? We entered their throne system and nothing. Sub-Commander Ikes folded in half, body trembling. Scans register satellites, cold iron constructs, no active defense, yet they're watching. Impossible. Primitive worlds do not cloak entire hemispheres. Ix didn't respond. He was too busy watching the feed. Earth rotated calmly. Cities glittered, oceans danced, but no propulsion signatures, no reaction, no fear, just one anomaly, a singular object hovering over Antarctica, a sphere of perfect reflective material, each scan redirected, absorbed, misread. The ship's AI declared it a null event. Commander Hreth stared. What kind of species lets invaders watch their world without blinking? Wraith Facility, Antarctica. She awoke with a breathless whisper. The child, codename Whisperling, opened her eyes mid-freeze, mid-dream. Evelyn leaned forward as sensors lit up. "She's conscious?" Raj asked. "Not just conscious," Evelyn breathed. "She's broadcasting." On the screen, frequencies twisted into spiral fractals, unreadable, chaotic, unless you listened. Emotionally, "She's speaking to someone," Evelyn said. Raj's eyes narrowed. "To who?" "To them." Aboard the Draxtian flagship, Commander Hreth screamed as his command deck flooded with soundless noise, an avalanche of meaning he couldn't translate. One by one, his officers dropped. Not dead, not wounded, frozen in place by empathy so sharp. It lacerated thought. On every view screen, the girl's face appeared, lit by a backlight of frost, eyes milky with unformed thoughts, yet older than memory. She did not speak. She stared, then mouthed a word none of them understood, but all felt. Remember. Suddenly, every Draxtian officer relived the worst moment of their lives. War, betrayal, loss, each vision perfectly tailored. The flagship screamed into retreat. Galactic network, public data leak, origin, human phantom, node 30,000. Alien networks received the same transmission, fill name Earth Primitive. Contents, archive footage of Earth's 20th to 23rd centuries, wars, plagues, genocide, recovery, spaceflight, sacrifice. In between it all, children laughing, lovers embracing, a man giving his last breath to pull another into a rescue pod, a scientist erasing herself from history to prevent misuse of a theory, a child whispering comfort to a dying soldier. The message came with no commentary, just the raw, unbearable truth. What kind of species survives that, and still builds? "Council War Room, Yalkar Moon Hall. We are not prepared," whispered the Elder General. "They haven't even begun to attack. They're just revealing who they are." "And what are they?" asked the Chancellor. "Something worse than an empire." "Then what?" The General stared at the quiet blue planet and shivered. A conviction, weaponized. A joint alien cartography fleet descends to map Earth's terrain and tech levels, confident no defense can stop passive scans. But Earth doesn't block them. It welcomes them. Then something begins to alter the mapper's memories, and by the time they realize it, they no longer remember what species they are. Neutral survey zone, upper thermosphere, cartography. Vessel, sunlit lens commander. Varek of the Tristari people pressed a finger to the viewing lens. Confirm full spectral. Scans, topographic, thermal, digital footprinting. Humanity's true capabilities lie in their infrastructure, not their star games. His Yalkari counterpart hummed through gill speech. "They've given us unshielded access. That alone suggests backwardness." "Or," muttered the junior Kel technician, "they want us to see something." Varek dismissed the thought, but his stomach twisted. Earth's continents rotated below them, laced in outdated grids, aged cities, patchworked ecology. And yet, his memory fluttered. "Wait," Varek said sharply. "Where is—" He stopped. He had been pointing at something, but his hand now hovered over blank ocean. His mind went silent. Inside Earth's ionosphere, relay, phantom echoes, unknown subroutines pulsed through alien data channels. The cartography probes, once steady in their orbital lattice, began to drift, not from magnetic drag, from confusion. Sensor drones reported conflicting results. 14 active space elevators detected. No, 3. One collapsed in 2112. Correction. There are none. Earth never reached that stage. They were no longer scanning Earth. They were scanning their own beliefs about Earth. Aboard sunlit lens technician Vith screamed. "My nav map just wrote in Terran runes. I don't even speak their language." Varek turned sharply. "Who assigned us the labels primitive? Who authored the doctrine?" The console glitched, showing Varek himself in a Terran uniform. Aged and dying. You said they couldn't reach us, his holographic double whispered. I did, Varric shouted. Then how am I here? The illusion shattered. Around the bridge, officers staggered, one repeated, dazed. I had a family. I was... Kel? Tristari? Why can't I remember my people's name? They hadn't been attacked. They had been rewritten. Earth, Lunar Black Site Zeta, Memory Chamber Array. Dr. Sato watched the lunar instruments spike. We fed them what they wanted. An open world. Weak defenses. Truth. And the chamber? Asked Raj. It pulsed into... They'll scan it with our records, all of them, but non-linear, interwoven. Raj crossed his arms. We didn't just confuse them. No, Evelyn said. We made them remember us too deeply. She turned to Whisperling, who stared out the viewport toward Earth. What are you doing? Evelyn whispered. The girl's voice echoed like, Frost cracking glass. I'm helping them see. Galactic Council emergency session. We've lost contact with Sunlit Lens, a Yalkari general said. And 2 relay probes are broadcasting nursery rhymes from Earth. Terran psychological warfare? The Chancellor asked. No, it's not warfare. Then what? The general's voice broke. It's a mirror we can't survive looking into. The chamber fell into silence. Because outside their borders, the stars were starting to whisper Earth's name back. Commander Varric watched Earth rotate beneath the hull's observation plane, the blue swirl of its atmosphere smeared by the arc of the sun. The planet was exposed, unguarded, its systems radiating like an open book. All scans initiated, chirped the systems deck. Spectral complete. Thermal grid mapping at 93%. Urban decay signatures align with projected models. He narrowed his gaze. No attempt to jam or scatter? None, Commander, came the Kel technician's hesitant reply. The Yalkari liaison's throat sacs vibrated with calm arrogance. A primitive species. They lack orbital dominance. Their satellites are derelict, their energy grid archaic. Then, they are either fools, Varric muttered, or baiting us. The crew laughed uneasily. He didn't, not when his display glitched. A shadow crossed the Pacific. He zoomed, empty ocean, but his memory rebelled. Hadn't he seen a structure there? A spire? No, a bloom of lights. He blinked, gone, not forgotten, just overwritten. Earth. Ionosphere. Probe feedback. Lattice relay probes pinged each other, their lattice twisted, data looping back on itself in contradiction. Seismic readings detect underground megastructures, consistent with Dyson infant architecture. Negative. No such build detected. Earth's deepest boreholes terminate shallow. Amendment. Earth is ringed by shield stations camouflaged as cloud formations. Correction. Earth's atmosphere contains no such anomalies. Contradiction. Error. Earth contains all and none. Something was wrong. They weren't measuring reality. They were measuring the memory of measurement. Sunlit Lens. Command deck technician. Vith gripped his skull. The map, my nav map, it's writing in Earth languages. I never learned Terran. Varric stood up sharply. Cut external feeds, all of them, but his words came too late. The interface glowed. His reflection blinked. Not him. An older version. Weathered. Human. Dressed in Terran naval black. Medals from battles Varric never fought. The reflection spoke. You've always known what we were. You just buried it. Varric's breath caught. Stop this, he roared. I can't, said the reflection. I'm not here. The image shattered. Around him, his officers screamed, cried, whispered the names of families that weren't theirs. A Yalkari navigator dropped to his knees. I was born in the ice flats of Silla 9. I remember a crater lake. No, a kindergarten. A Terran one. Someone sobbed, What is Tristari? What is Yalkari? What are we? Their pasts had not been erased. They had been replaced. Earth, Lunar Black Site, Zeta, Memory Chamber Array Doctor. Sato's hands trembled as the last sequence completed. Raj stared at the pulsing memory core. "We didn't send them a weapon." "No," Evelyn said. "We sent them us." "Records. Historical saturation?" "No. Emotional bleed. Biographical anchors. Our pain, our shame, our art. Not linearly, not cleanly. They absorbed fragments of everything." Whisperling stood beside the core, hair motionless in artificial stillness. She hadn't spoken since activation, until now. "I helped them see," she whispered. Her voice echoed, fracturing through 5 spectrums. "Now they don't know what was theirs, because now they remember us." Galactic Council. Emergency Assembly Alkari war chimes rang across the floor as reports streamed in. All contact lost with sunlit lens. 8 cartography drones broadcasting Terran lullabies. Multiple AI fragments requesting asylum. The Chancellor rose. "Is this Earth's retaliation, an attack?" "No," came the reply. "What then?" The General's throat clicked dry. "It's not an attack, it's not defense." He looked around the chamber, eyes haunted. "It's a mirror, one we were not meant to survive, and outside, beyond, their long borders." The stars whispered Earth's name back across the void, syllables bent in unfamiliar tongues, but always the same name. Humanity, and some of those voices were their own. The stars no longer spun in silence. Even in the dark space between galaxies, instruments picked up the faint recursive syllables of Earth's name, sometimes in static, sometimes in overlapping dialects of long-dead species. The signal was spreading faster than light allowed, bleeding through fold space, ghosting across FTL channels, as if time itself was relaying the message. Commander Varek floated, adrift. No vessel, no crew, no memory of how he left the sunlit lens, only the fading afterimage of a bridge collapsing into Terran architecture. His hands were wrong. 5 fingers, no bioskin lattice. Terran. He clenched them anyway, a voice curled behind his thoughts. "Do you remember now?" He did, but not who he was, only who Earth was. Aboard the Kell expedition carrier Osseran's Spear, chaos had mutated into something quieter, something worse. Half the ship's crew were isolated in sensory null pods, whispering things in Terran tongues, ancient quotes, personal regrets, memories of lives not lived but somehow felt. The ship's AI tried to delete corrupted memories. It failed. Every attempt only produced more. A junior analyst, Entry, stood before a map of Earth layered in shifting timelines. "Which version is correct?" The ship's director demanded. "All of them," Entry said. "We're seeing recursive cultural imprints encoded in Earth's myth, fiction, language. And they're not just infecting data, they're redefining it." The director's voice lowered. "Redefining?" Entry turned slowly. "I ran a scan on myself. My blood profile is wrong. I have iron-based hemoglobin. You're Kell." I was. Somewhere near Saturn's edge, an unmanned probe was found orbiting a shattered moon. It was one of theirs. But the logs were in Terran script. The timestamps didn't make sense. It had been launched only hours ago from a system hundreds of light-years away. Inside the data core, they found a message. "You looked at us too long. Now you are looking from us." In the void between Perseus arm roots, a ship drifted, dead. Inside it, the last crew member recorded a message with shaking claws. "I thought we were observers, but I see now. They were letting us look the whole time, letting us choose to become part of the story. But we mistook their silence for absence." He smiled. "I remember being a father, on a street I've never seen, in a city that never existed. It hurts, but it's beautiful." He began singing. The feed ended. At the Terran memory chamber, Whisperling smiled. "They keep trying to categorize us," Evelyn said quietly. "They shouldn't," Whisperling replied. "You can't organize what you've already joined." Raj turned to her, visibly disturbed. "What do you mean, joined?" Her eyes met his, impossibly deep. "You're not outside Earth anymore," she whispered. "None of them are. They just haven't realized it." Across the galaxy, navigation systems began redirecting without order, charts altered, homeworlds relabeled. In the quiet space between one breath and the next, countless species paused in dread, not because Earth was rising, but because they had started to believe they'd always known it was there. He stood at the edge of a jungle. He did not recognize warm air, verdant canopy, birdsong, Terran birds. Commander Vex stumbled forward, boots crunching over soil that felt too real for simulation. A river shimmered ahead. Beside it, a young girl drew patterns in the dirt with a stick. He approached her slowly. "Where am I?" he asked. The girl looked up, whispering. Older now, or younger, the lines of her face shifted when he blinked. "Still trying to measure it?" she said. He nodded, uncertain. She held up her hand and drew a slow spiral in the air. "You don't escape the mirror," she said. "You step through." He wanted to argue, but the weight in his chest wasn't fear. It was familiarity, and the names came back. Not Tristari, not Kel. Just names. Personal, Terran. His. At Relay Outpost. Juncav 4, technicians filtered through over 1 million intercepted. Signals, all bearing Earth's fragmented influence. A simulation team attempted to isolate the infection by building a sealed construct, an emulation of early Earth history. Firewalled in quantum dead space. 10 seconds in, its self-assembled continents, 20 seconds, cities. At 40 seconds, the system admin whispered, "That's my childhood street." He was from Rilthan, had never seen Earth, had never been to a place with rain, and yet the program had rendered rain. In deep orbit above Tarsis Prime, a Yalkari delegation stood aboard a cleanroom war archive, their final effort to preserve the species' memory. Without interference, they sealed the vault, they wiped all contact logs, but when they activated the interface, the display blinked in blue. "Hello," Terran Standard. The archive AI didn't resist. It welcomed them, offered them a choice, not escape, not defense. Just one question. Would you like to remember something beautiful? The room went silent. The Chancellor whispered yes, and the stars shifted again. Raj stood in the array room, watching, whispering. She stared up at the monitors. They weren't showing Earth anymore. They were showing everywhere, all at once, Earth, projected onto alien homeworlds. Terran memories mapped across galactic temples, foreign cityscapes laced with Earth's myths. Species were beginning to place humans in their own histories. Archaeological reports found bones that didn't belong. Songs in languages no one had sung for centuries now rhymed with Terran verse. Raj spoke quietly. "We didn't rewrite their data. We rewrote time." "No," Whispering said. "We reminded it." He swallowed. "Of what?" She turned, smiling gently. "That Earth has always been the place we all dreamed we were from." In the Council's hidden chamber, the final vote was cast. Silence across 1,000 systems. They didn't declare war. They didn't send envoys. They initiated memory lockdown, classified Earth, erased all mentions, purged records, sterilized history, but it was already too late. Even silence now carried the echo of a human voice. The signal reached the edge of the known universe, and it didn't stop. Across dead worlds and star-lost stations, derelict vessels blinked to life, not with propulsion, but with remembrance. Screens flickered, interfaces lit, voices, human voices recited lullabies, poetry, tactical briefings, dreams. A scout drone near the Great Void, untouched by civilization for eons, transmitted its last message. I was alone. Then I remembered a blue planet. Now I remember being loved. It powered down. Smiling, Commander Vex awoke, no longer on a jungle world nor aboard a vessel. He stood in a living room, photos on the wall, A kettle boiled softly in the kitchen. Through the window, children played in the snow. None of it should exist, but he wept because he remembered it now, because it felt more true than anything before. Whispering sat on the couch, drawing on paper. "You kept resisting," she said without looking up. "I thought that's what made us strong." "No," she said, "that's what made you separate." He looked down at his hands. Terran. Warm. "What happens now?" he whispered. She stood, walked to the door and opened it. Outside, Earth, or what every heart believed Earth to be. Sunlight, rain, towers, fields, cities and myths coexisting. Not a world anymore. A gravity, an inheritance. "You don't conquer Earth," Whisperling said. "You remember it." At the edge of time, the last of the resistant species launched a weapon, a star-core erasure bomb, designed to consume Earth and wipe all trace of its influence from the galactic continuum. It entered Sol System. It disappeared. The only record left was a timestamp in Terran English. Nice try. Centuries later, no one could find Earth on a star chart. It wasn't gone. It had become something else, not a place, a framework, a myth so deep it rewrote physics, an idea powerful enough to reshape memory, time, identity. All roads led to Earth. Even those that began far away, especially those, the stars still whispered, but now, when you listened closely, they whispered in your own voice, and Earth answered.